everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video. So today I am going to be sitting down to test out the Revlon Candid range. Now this is the Revlon Photoready Candid foundation range, and this is geared towards being anti-pollution and all that good stuff, and also it has a natural finish. Now I'm gonna go onto the website and read you guys a description of this foundation. Okay, now I did attempt to film this video yesterday, and so I kind of took yesterday's attempt at filming it more of me getting my first experience with the foundation, and today I'm gonna go ahead and see how we can use this foundation with a color corrector as well. But before we get into that, I'm gonna read a description of the foundation. It says the Revlon Photoready Candid Natural Finish Anti-Pollution Foundation is a skincare inspired ultra blendable, ultra buildable foundation. The foundation features antioxidants, anti-pollution, and anti-blue light, and best of all, no oils, no parabens, no phthalates, no synthetic dyes, and no fragrances. This foundation is medium to buildable coverage with a natural finish. It goes on like a moisturizer and then blends invisibly to even out skin tone weightlessly. So with that being in mind, keep everything I said in mind. Let's get into this video. So in the foundation, I got the shade 440, and this matches my skin tone pretty well, I would say, but you guys will see the color in a little bit. To prime my skin, I'm gonna go in with my Kiki Beauty Makeup Ready Face Primer. Now the reason why I didn't get the primer that goes with the Candid range is because the primer is 250 Rand. Yes, it is 250 Rand. So I was like, okay, that's a lot of money for a primer, and I mean, considering the rest of the foundation range and the concealers and stuff, they're like 130 Rand, which is the launch price. I was like, I think I'll skip the primer and just go in with the foundation, concealer, and powder. So right off the bat, I will tell you guys, I do not like how a sponge blends this foundation, because it is a very natural, very thin formula, and a sponge just soaks up all of the product. So I'm going to pump some foundation on the back of my hand, just 2 pumps for now, and it is quite a thin formula, but it's not runny or anything of that sort. I'm just gonna dot it on the side of my cheek so we can see the color. I would say it's a really decent color. It doesn't make me look ashy. It's actually, it blends into my skin so beautifully, like it almost looks like a second skin, which I really like. This color is really warm. Just gonna blend this into my skin. Now I'm gonna blend it on one side of my face, and we're gonna see what it looks like. I know some people have been able to get a really good coverage from this foundation, but if you have hyperpigmentation like I do, and if you have worse hyperpigmentation, then this might not cover too well. Also, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I had a little bit of FOMO from watching the whole Candid event on my friend's stories, and I was like, it looks so much fun. Also, in case you guys are wondering, I did get this foundation online from Dischem, and I will say the service is pretty on par with that of Clicks. And I will say 440 is quite a good match to my skin tone. Obviously my forehead is darker than the rest of my face because this is where the sun hits first, but I will say I'm quite happy with the color of this foundation. It is not too warm, it is not too yellow, it is not too pink. It's actually a really good warm golden caramelly undertone. This actually is called 440 caramel. So if you look at this foundation, you can still see some of my skin tone peeking through, some of my really like deep-rooted pigmentation issues. Like at the corners of my mouth, you can see my pigmentation coming through ever so slightly, and on the rest of my face you can kind of see just a little bit of pigmentation. And I'm gonna try and go a little bit further and build this up just a little bit more. I'm taking a little bit, maybe like half a pump extra. And I'm really going to try and cover this up on the sides of my mouth. Bear in mind, I've already used 2 pumps on this side of my face. So I really tried to work in that foundation and build up the coverage as much as I could. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like after I tried to go in and just add a little bit more coverage around the mouth area. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I can see just a little bit of my pigmentation peeking through, and my pigmentation isn't even that bad. So I will say it so far does what it claims to do. It's a very natural finish foundation. It sits very beautifully on the skin. It definitely does remind me of like a tinted moisturizer. That is how well it kind of illuminates the skin, and just that's how beautiful it looks on the skin. It almost sits on the skin like a tinted moisturizer. So it looks pretty good. Definitely way more coverage than a tinted moisturizer. It does say that it's medium to buildable coverage. I will say the coverage is definitely on the medium side. It's definitely buildable. You can go from a very light coverage to more of a medium coverage. Now, we already established that this foundation is going to work amazingly if you already have pretty good skin. I mean, I just have like redness from acne and all that stuff, and it's covered it up pretty decently. And yeah, there's just a little pigmentation at the sides of my mouth, but it's nothing too crazy. It's nothing that I'm mad about. However, I do feel like I need to go in and color correct that area. So I'm gonna go ahead with a fluffy sort of brush. I'm gonna go in with this burnt orange concealer from MAC. And I'm going to lightly apply this on the corners of my mouth and also my upper lip, because I do tend to get a 5 o'clock shadow. I'm gonna go in and set it with this powder. So this is the Revlon Candid Photoready Anti-Pollution Powder. I got the shade medium, which I quite enjoy. I really do enjoy this powder, and you'll see in a bit later on why. I really like the fact that it has this lid on, very less of a mess kind of lid situation. So I'm gonna pick up this powder. It is very finely milled, and I'm lightly gonna set. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but it does look like this foundation oxidizes just a little bit. Like, this is what it looks like previously applied. This is what it looks like freshly applied. Also, we do have a lot more coverage in this area, so that could be contributing to why it looks so different. Okay, guys, this is the foundation with no color corrector on the skin. This is the side of the foundation with color corrector on. So you can see where exactly I put the color corrector. It looks a lot more brightened and illuminated. And so yeah, can you use this foundation with color corrector? Can the girls out there with pigmentation use this foundation? And will it work for you with a color corrector? Yes, it will. Okay, so next we're gonna go in with the concealer. Now this is a concealer with caffeine, antioxidants, anti-pollution, anti-blue light, without sulfates, phthalates, no harsh fragrances, oil-free, and medium coverage. So this one says medium coverage. The foundation said buildable coverage. I have the shade 0.025 rather, and this is quite light. I wasn't sure how dark the foundation was going to be, so that is why I decided to go for this one. Now I really like this doe foot applicator because it almost like mimics a finger, and I find personally it tugs less under the eye area. Like, you can really just swipe the concealer and it definitely tugs less than some of the doe foot applicators. So I'm going to put some under my eye, down the center of my face, tip of the nose, a little bit on my upper lip for my 5 o'clock shadow, and on my chinny chin chin. I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques Beauty Blending Sponge. This is the same one I used yesterday to blend out this concealer. So yesterday when I was trying this foundation, I don't remember it packing as much coverage as it is right now, and I used like a freshly wet beauty blender. This one is slightly damp. I think I wetted like over an hour ago. So I would say you're probably going to get the best coverage with this concealer if you're using a damp sponge rather than one that is freshly wet, if that makes any sense. I know this concealer is light, you guys, but we're going to tone it down with the powder in a bit. So next we're going to go in with the Photoready Candid Anti-Pollution Setting Powder. I got the shade 2 Medium, and I honestly feel like this is perfect for medium complexions because it sets your foundation without changing the color of the foundation, if that makes any sense. And I also really like the fact that it has a sieve that you can close and open, so when you take off the top, powder is not flying everywhere. Now this powder is very finely milled. It's also just gonna lightly tone down my under eye concealer because this concealer is bright. I would say this powder is like a medium light coverage. It's not like a heavy coverage powder. It's still very lightweight. I'm just gonna set the entire face with this powder because why not? It's really light coverage without changing the color of your foundation. So if you are looking for a really lightweight powder, I assume in summer this is going to be amazing to set the face. But what I found yesterday is that with this foundation, because it's such a thin consistency foundation and it's so lightweight, I had the ever so slightest amount of creasing right in this area right here. So it's really, really nice in preventing creasing. Okay, so before I go in and finish the rest of my makeup, I just want to zoom you guys in, show you guys what the foundation looks like on bare skin built up to a more medium coverage. You can see a little bit of a pigmentation peeking through right there. And then looking at this side, I was able to achieve quite a decent amount of coverage going in with that color corrector underneath and then putting the foundation on top. It didn't change the foundation in any way. It still remains skin-like. Obviously I definitely powdered it just now, but I'm not going to spray any setting spray on my face. I'm just going to finish up the rest of my makeup and then we're going to come back and see what the foundation looks like. Okay you guys, so this is what the finished makeup look looks like. You guys can see on this side where there's no color corrector, there is some of my pigmentation on my face peeking through. I have a weird spot here that's clearly from my skin peeking through, and a little bit of my 5 o'clock shadow shows on the side, whereas where I color corrected it covered really well. So I'm gonna have to say that my favorite product from all 3 products that I've tried today is the concealer. I really do enjoy the coverage of this. I think it's really, really bomb, and I also really love the skincare benefits, you know, the antioxidant properties and all that stuff. And then I will say with regards to the foundation, when it comes to me, I definitely can appreciate a more natural looking foundation. So I can definitely appreciate this foundation for those of you out there who definitely want that skin-like everyday coverage and finish. It's very weightless. It is probably very close to what they describe it as. The only thing I would disagree is with, I don't think it's medium buildable. I think it's light to medium buildable coverage. So yeah, I guess that's what they mean by that. But overall, I really, really do like these products. I would say if you're a girl who has lots of pigmentation, you might not love this. So this is definitely not for all my full coverage girls out there. But if you do want to finesse the foundation, if you do want the best of both worlds, you want the coverage and you want the skincare benefits, then you can most definitely put a color corrector on and achieve your specific coverage. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys are enjoying this foundation, comment down below and let me know. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.